All right, we're doing our range test today on the Philodo Forester. I'm going to do my top speed, just running it hard range test today. I've got the seat set low. I'm probably going to pedal just out of habit, but for the most part, my pedaling is not going to be doing anything. I'm going to be running the bike in dual motor mode the entire time. We're doing some country riding today with quite a few hills, and I'm going to run it just as fast as I can run it. I weigh 200 pounds and I'm carrying maybe 5 pounds of camera gear today, but I got the battery at a full charge, 0 miles on the bike yet, and we're going to just go out and see how she performs. Here we go. All right, we're on the road now, and I'm just going to run it. I'm just going to ride it like a motorcycle. It is extremely windy today. Oh my God. Yeah, it's doing a lot better now that I'm out of the wind. This bike sits so high because it's a 26 by 4 inch bike. The buffeting from the wind was about to knock me over. There's a reason that motorcycles are built in a different way than bicycles are built. Here comes our first really big hill. Crosswind again. So yeah, I had to slow down to like a paltry, 32, 33 miles per hour to deal with those winds. Now I'm riding into a headwind. It's nice riding with the wind behind me. It really rides pretty smooth, but once that crosswind kicks in really hard, it's a pretty squirrely ride. Railroad tracks. Suspension soaked it right up, no problem. All right, mileage check-in update. I am at 9 miles on the odometer here for the built-in odometer for the bike. I've been riding it pretty much balls to the wall. Both motors kicked in, full throttle, hills, wind, everything. and we've dropped 1 bar on the battery meter. So I really expected it to be down further than this. Now when I was out riding, we could see that the battery meter dropped down pretty far, especially like when I was going against a headwind and going uphill and things like that. But when I would let off and come back and let the battery voltage come back up, that's when we could see that it's still got quite a lot. That's where we could see that it's still got quite a bit of juice left on the battery. So at 9 miles, I'm going to head back, and that's probably going to be like another 7 miles, and we're going to see where we're at when I get back. All right, so I've been riding it pretty hard this entire time with crosswinds and country hills and everything else. We're at 17 miles. Like I said, this bike is not really made for crosswinds. It sits kind of tall, and when a heavy gust of crosswind hits you, it really wants to take the bike down because the rider kind of acts like a sail, especially when you're riding along and you hit a dip or something and a like gust of wind at the same time. But right now I'm at 17 miles. I'm going to continue riding. When I was out riding full throttle, it was down in the red, but when I stop, it comes back up, and we've got a little bit in the green, so I'm going to continue going. When it gets in the red and stays in the red consistently, that's where I'm going to call it, and I'm going to head on home after that. But yeah, right now 17 miles, that's more than I expected it would do. I think I'm starting to feel a little bit of sag at this point too. I am going uphill, and it's only peaking out at about 32 on the speedometer. So it's definitely starting to feel some voltage drop for sure. Yeah, it's not taking off with as much power as it had before either. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. It just ticked over 18 miles. I mean, it's got some power left, but we are definitely in the red here for sure. I'm gonna head down the highway here and hope I don't get run over. Yeah, this is it. This is the limit. It's really taking off. Yeah, I just felt it like drop out. I'm gonna cut the back wheel off. All right, so I just ticked over 19 miles, and it's still got a little bit of juice in it, but realistically, after it hit 18 miles, it really dropped out, and it doesn't have much. So that's where I'm gonna call it for the range test. I'm headed back home now. 18 miles, realistically, if you're running it as hard as I ran it today. All right, this is kind of an impromptu ride. I did not plan this out today, but I'm in southern Ohio, and this is Buckeye Trail at the Philodo trails. I've always wanted to ride this trail, but I've just never made the time for it. I wanted to do the second follow-up for range testing with this bike on like completely flat trails, so like rail and trail, like what I normally ride, but I figure this is going to be, I guess, what we would call an in-between riding hard and riding casual. I'm not going to be able to track the entire GPS mileage with this Insta360 camera, because if you end the recording, it wipes out the GPS range data. This is the kind of stuff that I really like to ride. So where I ride, I've got access to a lot of really good rail and trail, but I don't have access to trails like this. So this should be a lot of fun today, and I'm going to get as much footage and shoehorn it in here so people who would be interested in this trail can actually see what it's all about. But yeah, this is the Buckeye Trail in Philodo trails, and I'm going to show where I'm at on the map right now, so anybody who would be interested in riding this trail can pop out here and see what it has to offer. But this is not going to be like a full like long range test, because you know, like flat riding, because it looks like we got a lot of hills, and if it's based on anything that like what I was dealing with coming in here, There are going to be a lot of fierce hills on this one, but I'm not going to be running the bike at full speed to deal with this. I'm going to try to get as much range as I can get out of it, dealing with hills and curves and things like that. But anyway, I've yammered enough. Let's see what this trail has. So I'm trying to run most of this ride at like 18 miles per hour in pedal assist level 2, and right around 18 is what it's showing where it caps out at. Looking at the GPS data for the phone, it looks like that's accurate within like a mile per hour. When you get this bike up to like 25 miles per hour, the speedometer is accurate within like a mile per hour. When you go any faster than that, the faster you go, the more the accuracy on the speedometer starts to drift away. So yeah, up to like 25, the speedometer is fairly accurate. Beyond that, it starts to drift. So the higher you go, the faster you go, up to like, 43 miles per hour, you're actually probably going to be doing like a true 40 on GPS. It's just something to keep in mind. But like I said, I don't know this trail. I don't know the curves, I don't know the bumps, so I'm going to put my phone away and quit playing around on that and keep both of my hands on the handlebars from here on out. Okay, so this trail has some really wicked hills, and I found this little trail that offshoots from here and goes down this way. Looks like a serious mountain bike trail, which we will not be taking this bike on that trail. As much as I love this bike and as much as it has a great suspension, it is not made for mountain biking. So if you're buying that bike right there, for this kind of trail, you're gonna kill yourself. That's crazy. Okay, so this trail is a lot of fun. This is one of the most fun trails I've ever ridden, but this is not going to be indicative of a normal range test because this trail is all hills all the time. You're either going straight up hills or straight down hills. And oh cool, look at this wicked curve coming up here. It's really beautiful out here. So yeah, this is like all hills and loose gravel. So it's definitely one of those things where if you get going a little bit too fast, it's going to be really easy to wipe out. Oh my God, it just occurred to me what I'm not dealing with on this ride today. This has been like the first ride of the season where the wind is not just kicking the crap out of me. It's so nice. It's calm, it's peaceful, sun's out. Very, very nice ride today. So for most of this ride, I've been keeping it in pedal assist level 2, which seems to be like just the right amount for going up these hills. I could turn on the second motor up front and probably make it a little easier. I'm going to go in pedal assist level 5 and just see what it's like to climb one of these hills. Now, yeah, with this loose gravel, it's almost too much. So I'm going to go back down into 2, and now I'm going to turn on dual motor, and we're going to take off in pedal assist level 2 going uphill here. Yeah, again, it's almost too much power for this loose gravel, but let's do level one. Yeah, you know, for climbing a hill like this, dual motor, assist level 1, it really kind of feels like that sweet spot for like safety, I guess. I mean, you know, yeah, if you want to have a lot of fun and just rip right up these hills, and also have the bike get pretty squirrely on you, you could go like, you know, pedal assist level 2. But yeah, that's pedal assist level 2, ripping up these hills. So it's almost like if you really want to economize going up these hills, go to a lower pedal assist level and use dual motor. And then when you're on flat ground, drop down to single motor and do just like, you know, pedal assist level 2 or higher than that. Yeah, but yeah, the front wheel breaks loose on this loose gravel pretty easily and doesn't really economize your power. So running it in a lower pedal assist with dual motor for climbing this kind of hill is actually probably more beneficial than running it in a higher level. It puts more power to the ground. All right, here's our first mileage check-in. We are at 6 miles on the bike odometer, and we have done 6 very brutal, pretty much all hills miles here, and we're down 1 bar out of 5 here. So far the battery life's looking pretty good on this bike. Yeah, so these kinds of trails right here, this is what this bike was made for. Well, now this is going to be interesting. Yeah, that's steep. All right, we've ended up at a road here, and I have no idea where I'm at. Do a mileage check-in. We're at 13 miles, still at 4 bars on the battery. I imagine once that hits 3 bars, it's going to start dropping soon. I am way out here, so I'm going to turn around and head back, go back to the beginning, and do our final battery check-in. And yeah, the trip back is going to be pretty much straight uphill almost the whole way. So here we go. No sooner than I said that about turning around and saying that the battery was going to start dropping fast, I turned around and started coming up that first hill, and it dropped to 3 bars where it was at 4 bars. So I imagine this trip back is going to be a lot rougher on the battery getting back than it was coming out here. Lordy. right, back to the beginning of the ride here, and I just ticked over 22 miles on the odometer, but I am solidly in 2 bars here. It dropped from 3 to 2 just now. Now, I would say that if I keep riding it on these kinds of trails where it's pretty much all hills all the time, I probably have like another 5 to 8 miles that I could go before it drops into the red. And in the red is where you don't want to ride it anymore. You basically want to go home and charge it after that. But this trail was pretty much all hills. I mean, it wasn't some hills here and there. The whole trail was basically up and down and up and down. It was all hills the entire ride. So 22 miles of all hills. I'm going to guess that that's probably closer to about 20 miles, but still 20 miles of basically just all hills and gravel path like that. That's what I got out of it, and I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty impressive. And as you can see, based on the kind of riding that I did today, where I was doing like 18 miles per hour for the most part, and not just running it both motors, balls to the wall, top speed the entire time, we were able to get considerably more miles out of it. So I'm thinking that as soon as I get to the rail and trail and can do our flat riding, we're going to get even a lot more miles than that. But anyway, that concludes today's range test, and stick around for the long range efficient riding range test. All right, today we are doing our final range test, and this is going to be casual riding down a rail and trail. This is the kind of riding that I normally do, and I'll be keeping a speed of anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour. I like to keep it casual but not too slow, so I am going to be pedaling along with the bike as well, and I'm going to be stopping every once in a while to give a range update. But we're at a full battery charge, and yeah, I'm probably going to be riding along in pedal assist level 2. That keeps us up at about 18 miles per hour, and I'm going to see how far that'll take us. All right, so I just ticked over 10 miles on my trip odometer here, and it just dropped right now to 4 bars on the battery meter. So my plan is to ride this bike 20 miles, then turn around and go back. I've been riding at 18 miles per hour. It's pretty windy today. I weigh 200 pounds, and that's where we're at for our first mileage check-in. And one thing I want to say, and most people know this already, but these 26x4 fat tire bikes are really heavy, but once you get them moving on a trail like this, they're very battery efficient because it doesn't take much effort to keep the momentum going once you get up to your speed that you want to attain. So I believe we're going to get a lot more mileage riding the bike like this on this kind of trail than I have previously. As a matter of fact, I guarantee we will. Probably close to like twice the distance. I think there are 3 deer up there. I'm going to see if I can sneak up on them. They see me, so it's probably not going to work, but what are you doing, guys? What's going on? What are you doing? Hey, buddy. Hello. All right, we have made it to Urbana, and I just ticked over 21 miles. I'm gonna turn around, head back now. I've got this little minor hill to make it up, but then I've got a very minor upward grade all the way, the rest of the way back. So that's going to factor in on battery life. But as for our battery check-in at this point, like I said, 21 miles, and I'm at 4 out of 5 bars. I imagine it's going to start dropping a lot faster with the minor grade that I'm going to be riding up going back, and I think I'm going to be going into a headwind as well. but I'll do a final check-in when I get back. Oh yeah, definitely a headwind, for sure. All right, we just ticked over 26 miles, and out here in these open fields, there's this headwind is rocking me for sure, but we just dropped to 3 bars on the battery meter, and I knew it would start dropping a lot faster on the ride back. I have confidence that it's going to get me back at this speed with no problems, but hey bunny. But yeah, the wind and the incline is definitely sapping the battery a lot faster. Wide open fields on both sides, and the wind is absolutely savage right now. Oh my God, I've never been so happy to see trees in my entire life. That wind was cutting through me like knives. And we just ticked over 30 miles and just dropped to 2 bars on the battery. I've got about 8 or 9 miles to go. And now that I've got these trees blocking the wind, it shouldn't be so hard to make it that 8 or 9 miles that I have to go. All right, here we are back at the beginning of the ride. We're at 39 miles. I weigh 200 pounds. I rode the bike, pedal assist level 2, 18 miles per hour, pretty much the entire trip. A few stops, very few hills. But the wind on the way back was absolutely brutal. We're at 2 bars out of 5. I would give it my best guess that if I continued riding it the way I've been riding it, it's going to go through this last green bar, and we'll get maybe 5 to 8. 8 being very, very wishful in my thinking, but I'm going to guess we'll get probably at least 5 more miles out of this before we get in the red, and the red would give us probably another week 5 miles. Best case scenario, you're going to get about 45 miles out of this bike if you weigh what I weigh and you ride it the way I rode it today. But that concludes all of our range testing for the Philodo Forester. Thanks for watching. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.